there are every formula, 13 formulas of earned value is in that page from PMBOK.
So can you recall the page number? That would be the best.
I forgot most probably 230 or 232, most probably. That will be the page. I can just open up. I know the formulas. PMI, SAP. Okay. Lab training programs, 103. So let me open up the PMBOK. All right.
It is 267.
So in PMBOK, 267. You got it, no?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
267.
All right. Yes. Okay. So that is very important. Yes. And there is also explanation of all the formulas. So that is also important to understand. Because in the exam, you will not always get math. You will get some, if you have the concept of earned management, you can easily interpret. So they also ask you just some interpretation, not math. Just you have to be able to interpret. All right, so let me go to that page. Yes. Yeah, this is the page 267. Very important for exam. Yeah. So there are 13 formulas, and at the right column, you will get some interpretation. Yeah. Understanding this interpretation is very important because always you will get 2-3 questions from this interpretation, right? Not you need not to do any mathematics, just interpretation. Okay, so these are the formulas. The presentation slide is here. So we will start with a scenario. I will actually explain the full mathematics in white screen, whiteboard. All right, so can you see my whiteboard?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So let me draw a rectangle, and I actually assuming a project, and the scope of the project is, say this is actually 4 walls of a room, right? Of a big room or big conference room. So these are the 4 walls of the room, and our scope is to color the walls. We want to color the walls, and for each wall, when we are doing planning before starting the project, we are doing planning. So our scope is we want to color the 4 walls, right? And we are planning for the project. So first plan, what we make the decision of timing is that scheduling and cost. We are assuming actually. So to complete this 4 walls, coloring these 4 walls, we will need $50 to complete a single wall. So $50 per wall. Okay. And we will need 1 day. 1 day to complete 1 wall. 1 day we need to complete 1 wall. So this is our planning. That means this is our schedule baseline. So how much time we need to complete the walls? 1 day, 1 wall. So we will need total 4 days, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we need 4 days, right, to complete the walls. And how much money we need to complete the wall? মৌ কদিন লাগবে ওয়াল কমপ্লিট করার জন্য? Per wall we need $50. So 4 walls, how much we need? শোনা যাচ্ছে না? মৌ নাই নাকি? আচ্ছা, হ্যাঁ। So $200 না, $200. সাদমান বুঝতে পারতেছেন তো না?
হ্যাঁ 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 $200.
Okay, $200. So
নেট খুবই খারাপ, কেটে কেটে আসতেছে কথা।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, okay, all right.
$200.
$200. So our schedule baseline is actually 4 days. Before starting the project, we just plan we need 4 days to complete the coloring of the walls, and the sheet and cost baseline is $400. All right, and scope baseline is we need to complete the 4 walls and we need to color the 4 walls. So this is the scenario. All right. So now, say for example, let me so for example, on the second day, the contractor came to you and he actually give you some information. That information already we have seen this in PMBOK, work performance data. So he actually informing you to and providing you some data related to the project. When after completing second day's work, that means in the evening of the second day, the contractor has come to you and he is telling that already 3 walls are completed. 3 walls color is completed. Number 1. Number 2 is $120 is already spent. All right. So you are getting some physical progress report. 3 wall is already completed and cost related data, that is $120 is spent. All right. So in this scenario, we want to understand what is the status of the project. আমরা কি সিনারিওটা বুঝতে পারছি?
Reja bhai, at the end of second day or at the end of first day? The scenario is
at the end of second day.
At the end of second day.
At the end of second day. Second day. So 2 days work is already done. And we have spent $120 and 3 walls is painted. তিনটা ওয়াল আমরা পেইন্ট করে ফেলেছি। এই অবস্থায় what is the status of the project? What is the progress of the project? So that we want to calculate mathematically. All right. So now we will use earned value formulas to interpret this scenario, and we can easily understand from seeing the numbers where are we now in the project. So first, if you can understand 4 variables, let me I am actually saving this. I will share you later on, and I am clearing all the drawings. Now we'll use text. So you have to understand 4 variables. Number 1 variable is plan value. Second variable is first one is actually BAC. Second one is actual cost, AC. Third one is sorry. Third one is plan value, and last one is earned value. So I talked that there are actually 13 formulas of earned value management. All formulas actually using these 4 variables. So if you can understand these 4 variables, then actually you can easily do any math, any kind of math you got in the PMP exam, you can solve that. So first you have to understand what is the value, what this means, and what are the values in the current scenario. The project I am discussing in the current scenario, what are the values of each variable. So BSC means what? BSC means hocche, BSC means budget at completion. That means the total budget, the total cost baseline. So budget at completion is how much? For our scenario, $200, right? এটা আমার সাথে একটু কথা বলেন, নাহলে বোঝা যাবে না সবাই বুঝতেছেন কিনা। হ্যাঁ, keep yourself unmuted. All right, so how much money after second day we have spent? Actual cost is that. Actually, how much money we have spent on the data date or status this. Our status date is when? After second day evening. So actual cost is $120, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Planned value. So what is the planned value? Planned value means planned value. Past tense arki, planned. So what is the planned values for the second day? We did a planning at the beginning of the project that every day we'll spend $50. So planned value was after 2 days we will spend 50-50. That means $100, right? এটা কি আমরা বুঝতে পারছি?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Now let me explain what is earned value. That means, so as of now, how much actually value we have earned. So if you see, the contractor is saying 3 walls is already painted, 3 walls. That means how much value we have earned? We have earned actually $150 value because we have completed 3 walls. So we have earned in terms of money, in terms of dollar, $150 value we have earned so far after second day. All right, have you understood this? And value means so far what really we earned. Okay, so actually there is some formula you can apply also, because in the exam you will not get small numbers, you will get big numbers. Then you need to use some, maybe somewhere you have to use calculator. So what is the formula to calculate the planned value? Planned percentage of complete into I'm using this into BSC. This is the formula. So see, planned percentage complete. What was our plan? Second day we'll complete 2 walls. That means out of 40, we had a plan to complete 50% of the scope, right? 50% or 2/4. That means out of 4 walls, our plan was to complete 2 walls. From there, actually 50% is coming. All right. So 50% into BSC, how much? $200. So the value is $100. So this way, actually, we are getting this $100. All right. So now let's see how 150 actually came. So actual percentage of complete into BSC. So actually, how much we completed? So we have completed 3 walls, right? 3/4. Out of 4 walls, we have completed 3 walls. That means how much we complete? 75%, right?
Yeah.
into
Yes.
200 equal to 150. So this way we can calculate earned value and plan value. All right. So if the number is big, then you can apply this formula to find out what is the earned value as of the status date or data date. This is very important. Which date is the data date, or which date you are measuring the progress? Data date or status date. So see, we have got four values of four variables. All right. Now we want to calculate CPI. CPI means cost performance index. How much we are performing in terms of cost. The formula is earned value divided by actual cost. See, already we know all the value of the variables. So earned value is how much? 150 divided by actual cost, how much? 120. So what will be the value? 1.25. So the concept is very important. The interpretation is very important. So how are we doing in terms of cost? We are doing good. If the CPI is greater than 1, that means you are doing good in terms of cost. What is the interpretation? That means spending $1, we are actually creating value of $1.25. আমরা এক টাকা 25 পয়সার কাজ করে ফেলতেছি। অলরাইট, সো আমাদেরকে বুঝতে হবে যদি সিপিআই greater than 1 হয়, that means we are doing great in terms of project budget or cost or expense. All right. If CPI is less than 1, then what will happen? Are we doing good or doing bad? If CPI is less than 1,
We're doing bad.
Bad, because then actually the actual cost will be higher than earned value. That's why it will come less than 1, and it is actually showing us that we are actually lagging behind on our budget. Now, can anyone interpret this? If CPI is 1, what does it mean? If CPI is 1, what does it mean?
We are exactly on plan.
Yes, we are exactly on plan. Our earned value and our actual expenditure is same. That's why CPI is 1. That means we are exactly as per our plan. All right. So see, if in any question or if anyone asks you CPI of a project, for example, CPI of a project is 0.9, then what you will understand? Good or bad scenario?
Bad scenario.
The CPI is 0.9, bad scenario, right? So this interpretation is very important to understand. Then let me explain another formula for schedule performance index. SPI means schedule performance index. Earned value divided by plan value. So see, everywhere earned value is coming first. Okay, so earned value is 150 divided by 100 plan value. So we are getting 1.5. What does it mean? That means we are doing 1 day, we are doing 1.5 times of job. একদিনে আমরা 1.5 দিনের কাজ করে ফেলতেছি। That's why actually we have completed 3 walls within 2 days. All right. So if SPI is greater than 1, that means we are well ahead of our schedule. If SPI is less than 1, that means we are behind schedule. And if SPI is 1, that means we are as per our plan. All right. So this is the interpretation of CPI and SPI. So it can happen in a project at a data date or a status date. This may happen. SPI is equal to 0.9 and SPI equal to 1.2. Can anyone interpret this? If at any status date you get this value, what will be the interpretation of the project? You বলতে পারবেন what is the interpretation? CPI for the same project on the status date, CPI is 0.9 and SPI is 1.2. What does it mean? Sadman?
হ্যাঁ, বুঝতে পারতেছেন এরকমটা কিভাবে হইতে পারে আসলে?
For SPI, we are ahead of schedule, and for CPI, we are under budget.
Under budget mean?
We are not. Bad scenario is bad. I mean
and that is actually over budget scenario. Already, we have expend
more
exceeding
than
our plan.
Exactly.
So, Sadman, this can happen actually. A single project, maybe you are expending more, but you are still under schedule. You are doing good, but maybe your expenditure is higher, but your schedule is under control, right? So, for earned value,
তার মানে কি ভাই, মানে এটা যে প্রজেক্ট শেষ করতে অ্যাকচুয়ালি বেশি কস্ট লাগবে,
হ্যাঁ,
এরকম
বেশি কস্ট লাগবে, কিন্তু শিডিউল হয়তো কম লাগবে। এখন পর্যন্ত যে সিনারিও পাচ্ছি আমরা, হ্যাঁ, স্ট্যাটাস ডেটে আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি যে আমরা যেভাবে আগাচ্ছি তাতে মেবি আমরা টাকা বাজেটের মধ্যে থাকতে পারবো বা টাকা সেভ হয়ে যাবে, না টাকা বেশি লাগবে কিন্তু সময়টা কম লাগবে, সময় কম লাগবে। হ্যাঁ, সময়ের আগে শেষ করতে পারবো কিন্তু টাকা বেশি খরচ হয়ে যাচ্ছে। তার মানে প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজার কি করবে তখন যদি এরকম সিনারিও দেখে? তখন তার তো এখন কি করতে হবে, যেহেতু কস্ট বেশি লেগে যাচ্ছে, বাজেট তো আর ম্যানেজমেন্ট দিবে না। দ্যাট মিনস তাকে কিন্তু করতে হবে, প্রোঅ্যাক্টিভ হয়ে এখন কাজ করতে হবে, যাতে আমি অ্যালাইন হয়ে আসতে পারি, যাতে আমার যেটা কস্ট বেস দেন তার মধ্যে আমি প্রজেক্টটা শেষ করতে পারি, সেটার জন্য চেষ্টা করতে হবে। So that's why actually earned value is very interesting tool. If you see only the numbers, as a project manager you will understand, or a sponsor you will understand how we are doing in the project. And seeing this, project manager should take actions, proactive actions, so that he can actually complete the project within the cost base then. All right, in this scenario it may happen different actually. Say CPI equal to 0.8 and SPI equal to say 0.8. That means in both cases we are doing bad. We are over budget, expending more, and we are actually, the way we are moving, the schedule, we cannot meet the schedule. All right. So for a single project, a single day, the status date, we can get different scenario. Based on that scenario, we have to take the measures so that we can actually come in line with our planning.
Under scenario 1, the probable option could be like withdraw some resources and keep the CPI under check.
Yes, that can be one measure. Okay, so now let me show another formula that is actually cost variance, CV. CV equal to earned value minus actual cost. So far, what is the variance of cost? So earned value is $150 and actual cost is $120. So we are getting $30. So $30 means positive $30, right? That means the way we are moving, maybe we can save some money from this project. So if CV, very important to interpret, need to understand the interpretation. If CV equal to, CV is negative, right? CV is negative, then what will happen? That means we need we need more money. At the end of the project, we may need more money because our cost variance is negative. But our case, we are actually $30 positive. So positive means what? CV is positive means maybe we can save some money. All right. So as of the date, status date, we are actually in good shape. But if CV equal to 0, What will be the interpretation if CV is the zero?
On budget, like.
Yes, as per plan, on budget. All right. So when earned value and actual cost will be the same, then actually CV will come zero, right? So that means we are doing as per our plan. There is no variation, no deviation. All right. Now let me talk about another formula, SV, to measure schedule variance. Yeah.
Uh, in terms of sequence, which one comes first, CV or CPI? Or they can come simultaneously?
Simultaneously, no issues.
No issues.
No dependency, no dependency. You can first find out CV, then CPI, SB, SPI. There is no dependency. All right.
Okay.
Because we are using just these four formulas, though four variables only, nothing else so far.
Yeah.
All right. So this is actually earned value minus planned value. So 150 minus 100 earned value. That means positive 50. Positive 50 means what? We are actually 1 day, right? 1 day ahead of our schedule. একদিনে $50 কাজ করার কথা, but positive 50, we are already ahead of the schedule. So if SB is positive, that means we are doing good in terms of schedule management. If SB is negative, that means we are well behind the schedule. And if SB is zero, that means we are moving we are progressing as per the schedule. So this is the interpretation. So see, based on these four variables, we actually find out 1, 2, 3, 4 formulas based on these variables. And if you see, so you have to memorize these formulas. I actually always prefer and always talk that you should not memorize anything, but for math formula, you have to memorize the formulas. So we are seeing here 4 formulas based on these 4 variables. So the memorization is very easy. If you can check here, CPI equal to what? Earned value divided by actual cost. And cost variance is actually earned value minus this AC, actual cost. So this way you can easily remember. Earned value will always come first. All right. And SPI, if you see the SPI, earned value divided by PV, and SB, schedule variance, is earned value, the same thing, minus planned value. All right. So when we are talking about performance index, then it will be ratio, or when we are talking about variance, then that will be subtraction. All right. So I am saving this. You will get all this formula in my presentation slide and also in PMBOK. Okay, now we'll move for the next formulas. And let me see the formulas here. CPS we have talked. Now we'll talk about another couple of formulas. Okay. So if you see these last formulas, they are actually showing the status of the project on a status date. Now, if we want to find out ESC means estimate at completion. So far we have seen the static data. After second day, what is the status? Now we actually want to forecast how much money we need to complete the project. So ESC means, the formula is ESC equal to BSC divided by CPI. All right. So CPI, our BSC is 200 and CPI is 1.25, right? So if I divide 200 by 1.25, what will be the answer? It is $160. ESC means, as per the data, second day we are seeing that we are in a good shape in terms of project budget and also schedule in our current scenario, right? But in your case, in your project, maybe the scenario will be different. So we are actually calculating based on our present project that I am showing you, and also the data we have already calculated in the last discussion. So ESC means estimate at completion. That means the way we are moving. So if we move in the same way, how much money, total project budget we need to complete the project? Can you remember our baseline was BSc $200, but now we are seeing as we are doing very good, all right? So estimate at completion, the new completion estimate will be $160. All right. So this is actually ESC. Now, if we want to calculate the variance, VSC, what is the variance? Variance is BSc minus EAC. That means the cost baseline minus the new estimate as completion. So in our case, 200 minus 160, that means $40. Positive 40 means what? If in this way we move, if our performance is throughout the project for the last second 2 days, if the progress is the same, then we may save $40. This positive means we can save $40 variance as completion. But if our performance was bad, then what would happen? Then we may get negative. Negative means that the negative amount is how much extra money we need to complete the project. All right. So we have already expend how much money? $120. So if our progress is, we can keep our progress same, then how much money we need to complete the project? New ESC minus AC. ETC means estimate to complete. As per our performance, from now, how much additional money we need to complete the project? So 160 is the new budget, and already we have spent $120 actual cost. So we will need another $40 in this current scenario, in this current performance. We need another only $40 to complete the project. So that is known as ETC, estimate to completion. All right. So see, these three variables are actually forecasting. We can forecast what could happen at the end of the project. All right. So if negative scenario, we are actually talking about a positive scenario project. If we can see, if we can assume, or if we find negative scenario, then you will see everything will come negative here. That means we will need extra money. So this is actually forecasting formulas. Seeing this, you can easily forecast what is going to happen at the end of the project. So depending upon that, you have to take measures. So in our case, everything is moving in very good shape. So now we have to keep on focusing so that the good work is continued. All right. Okay, now there is some variation of calculation of ESC. There are actually 4 formulas to calculate ESC. All right. So I am keeping it here. So first one is simple. If the CPI, the cost performance index, is for the rest of the days or rest of the project is same, then we can only use this formula. If we can understand, if we feel that the CPI will be remain same for rest of the project, then only we will use this formula. So this is the simplest use of the formula. হ্যাঁ নাসর ভাই, এই ফর্মুলা কি দেখছেন এগুলা?
এই পর্যন্ত আমি ঠিক আছি, I am aligned with
Okay, all right. So now actually I am going to my slides so that I can show you the formulas, other formulas, and what will be the value of the formulas. So as I was mentioning that to calculate ESC, we have actually four formula. We have seen this, right? This formula we have already seen. When we will use this formula? When we are thinking that CPI will be the same for rest of the project. Then only we can use this formula. All right. So second variation of the formula is this. When we shall use this formula, work will be accomplished as planned. That means as planned. That means for the rest of the time, rest of the project, maybe the set we cannot continue the CPI, the same CPI. So what we are thinking, the planning, the earlier plan we have made, that plan will be sustained for rest of the project. Only on that case, we actually this formula. That means we have spent already how much? Actual cost plus BAC, budget at completion minus earned value. See, minus earned value. So in our case, if I use this formula, what will happen? AC is $120 plus BAC is $200, right? Minus earned value, how much? $150. I am keeping this in bracket. That means this is actually meaning this. For the rest of the project, we will accomplish as per plan. So as per plan, we are having only $50 in our hand. So that's why the result will come 170. So from the next day, if we actually follow our first plan, then actually we need $170. But this is the best case scenario. When we have already seen $160. All right. So this is the second.
Why there is a deviation 160 to 170? I mean, we'll be spending more in the second scenario.
If scenario, if you can gauge that the scenario will change, you cannot maintain this CPI. This is the best case scenario actually.
Exactly.
Our case is a good scenario, and if you can maintain that CPI, that performance index, then you can use this, and that is actually give you the best result. Within 160 you can finish. But you are thinking that from the next, maybe someone is already sick, or someone is on leave. So you are thinking that you cannot maintain this CPI. So then you will again go back to your earlier plan. So then actually you will use this formula. All right. You will use one formula, not four formula for the same project. So maybe you will use this one or this one, or these two can come into play.
In that case, the main differential factor is here like that BAC minus EV, it is going to be the main differential factor. I mean,
because the main differential factor is CPI. You cannot maintain the CPI for the rest of the project. That's why you are using this formula. If you can maintain, then you will use this formula. If you feel that you cannot maintain, then actually you will use this formula.
I'm coming from different, I mean, from different angle, like that actual cost is gone. I mean, done. We cannot do anything about actual cost. Now the base BAC and the EV, this is the differential factor, like the budgeted completion and the earned value. This is I'm going to earn to arrive at ESC, right?
Right. Yes, because already you have earned this. So you have to earn only 50 more. So that's why you are actually subtracting BSc and earned value. All right. So third one is initial plan is no longer valid. If the scenario looks like that, the initial plan that you did for $200, so if that does not actually, you feel that that will not be maintained, then you can use this formula. What we are doing here, so we are actually already we have spent $120, so actual cost is there. But for the rest of the job, you are going to do bottom up ETC. Bottom up ETC means estimate to complete. You will again estimate for the rest of the work how much money you need. So that value actually you will have to deduce from expert judgment or from your experience or consulting with some experts. So that bottom up estimate to complete. Maybe already we have spent $120, and after bottom up estimation, we are finding that we need another $60. So the total value we need $180. All right. So when we use this formula, when initial plan is, we are guessing, we are thinking initial plan is no more valid. Then we will, for the rest of the job, we will do again bottom-up estimation. Can you remember the bottom-up estimation? Parametric, bottom-up, top-down. So bottom-up, that means for the rest of the job, we will again estimate, and the money we will estimate that will be added with the actual cost. Okay. Last one is, here actually we use only CPI. We have not used any SPI. All right. We have actually only considered the cost performance. But if you find that, if you understand that schedule performance index is also going to influence your progress of the project, then it is better to use a CPI and SPI and this formula, where actually we are using CPI and SPI also. All right. So if we use this formula, what happens? In our case, $120 plus BSC minus earned value. That means $50 divided by 1.25 into 1.5. So most probably, if you calculate, most probably you will get around 146 or something. Maybe, if you calculate this. So it is coming actually better than this one, right? Because here actually we have only considered CPI. CPI is good, but our SPI was excellent, right? Because within our SPI is 1.5, right? 1.5 times. So when we are considering these two, we are actually getting the lowest value. We can complete the project within $146. All right. So these are the variants of the same formula, EAC, estimate at completion. So based on the scenario, you have to use any of the formulas mentioned in the scenario of the PMP exam. And you have, in practical scenario, practical case, you have to, based on these conditions, you have to choose which formula you want to use for your project. Okay.
Rajabhai, in case of initial plan is no longer valid, bottom-up ETC, that is going to be there in the question, right?
Yes.
How
yes.
do you arrive at that bottom-up ETC?
Yes. In the exam, if this formula you need to apply, then bottom-up estimation value they will mention in the question.
Oh. This is the unique one, so it is very easy to get to know the formula.
Yeah. And most probably you will not get any question about this one.
Exactly. The last one is the important one.
Yes. And I think this last one we can use in our project also always. Okay. This will actually give them a more realistic view of the forecast.
Okay.
All right. So we have another formula. So in the slides, actually, you will get a mathematics, and all the formulas is applied here, and also the tips how to remember the formulas, and also this formula when you will use this formula, and also application of the formula based on the math in the slide. Okay. Now let me can anyone say me? Can anyone tell what is the scenario of this project? This is the status date or data date. This is very important. Status date and data date. So can anyone tell me what is the status of this project? Because in the exam, you will surely get one, two graphical view like this. And they will actually ask you to interpret this graph. In terms of budget, in terms of schedule, how are you doing? Can anyone tell me? Can you interpret in this date, data date, what is the status of this project? Earned value is?
Lesser than BSc, budget at completion.
Earned value is here, actual cost is here. That means cost is very high.
High.
Right? Earned value is the lowest one. And this is the plan value, right? This is the plan value. So earned value, if the earned value is the lowest bar in the graph and other two are at the top of the earned value, that means the project is doing in terms of cost, in terms of schedule, it is doing bad, right? It is doing bad. So if I can you see the answer? The above project is performing over budget, already expending a lot, and behind the schedule, and also it is behind the schedule. So how actually you understand this? If you can remember the formula, you can easily actually interpret this. So what is actually cost variance? Earned value minus actual cost. So in our case, what will happen? Earned value is lesser than actual cost. Actual cost is high. So you will get negative value, right? And SB is earned value minus plan value.
Plan value.
In this, from this graph, what we are seeing, earned value, the value, this also will come negative, right? Because earned value is the lowest one, and the plan value is above the earned value. So it is also come negative. So if both are negative, then we are over budget and also behind schedule. ঠিক আছে? So this, you will get 1-2 questions from this graphical interpretation. So you have to understand the graphical interpretation very clearly. All right. So if you understand the formula, or if you can remember the formulas, you can also interpret this graph easily. In our case, let me draw in our case, right? In our case, this is the time and this is the cumulative cost. In our case, what we thought? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is $50. This is 100. This is 150, and this is $200. This is our cost baseline, and schedule baseline 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So we are actually measuring everything on day 2. So in our case, what was the plan value? Our plan value was second day $200. So this is the point of plan value. So if you draw the line like this, so it is showing this. This is the plan value. On second day, what is the earned value? What was the earned value?
Plan value was 100.
In our case, second day our plan value was 100.
Exactly.
What was the earned value on second day? In our case,
150.
150. So the point will be here. All right. So I am drawing a line. This is earned value. And what is the actual cost?
$120. $120.
So that means this will show here, right? So let me use another blue line. So if I draw, the line will be like this, right? So see, this is actually different. So in our case, if we use the formula, then we'll get what? Earned value is at the top. If earned value is at the top, then actually we'll do in both cases, in terms of schedule and in terms of cost, we are doing good actually. So our case, in our scenario, we are doing good in both aspect, in schedule and in terms of cost. Okay. Okay. So let me forward. So see, if as we are doing bad, that's why if you see the whole graph, what you are seeing, BC is here, and ESC means estimated completion, new estimate, right? As we are doing bad, you see it is actually, if you see this, we cannot actually complete the project within the management reserve also. The project is doing so bad in terms of cost, it is actually exceeding the management reserve also. So we have to take action so that it comes down. Otherwise, management reserve also cannot handle the unforeseen scenario of this project. Okay. Okay, last two formulas of earned value. That is actually S2 complete performance index. So far, we have actually seen CPI and SPI, which actually giving a static result of on that day, on second day. But we want to see the forecast, 2 complete performance index. All right, and the same formula having 2 variants actually. This is the first one, and this is the second one. So in our case, if you can calculate, use the formula here, BSE minus earned value. That means actually, this actually is meaning this. The top one is meaning this, work remaining. How will get the work remaining? BSE minus earned value. That is actually work remaining. And this one actually budget remaining or funds remaining. BSE minus ASC in first case, or ESC minus ASC in the second case. All right. So in our case, if we use the formula, what we are getting, BSC minus earned value means how much? 50, right? চলে যেতেছে আসতেছে, মানে লাইন কি খুবই ডিস্টার্ব দিচ্ছে নাকি? অনেকে ফ্রিকোয়েন্টলি ডিসকানেক্ট হচ্ছে। So 50 divided by
বলছে
50
ইন্টারনেটে
divided
কিছু
by what? হ্যাঁ, সাদমান। সাদমান কি কিছু বলতেছিলেন?
না ভাই।
আচ্ছা। So 50, we are getting 50 from here, and BSc minus ASC 80, right?
80.
80. So we are getting how much? So if we divide this, I think you will get 0.625. All right. What does it mean? That means we are forecasting that for the rest of the project, if we progress like this, $1 যদি $0.625 কাজ আমরা করি, তাও আমরা বাজেটের মধ্যে প্রজেক্টটা শেষ করতে পারবো। $200 বেশি লাগবে না। See, our performance was 1.25, but আমরা প্রজেক্টটা বাজেটের মধ্যে শেষ করার জন্য কি করতেছি, নেক্সট কাজগুলো আমরা আরো পারফরম্যান্স খারাপ করে করতেছি, তাই না? So that's why the CPI is now actually 0.625. So in this way, if we move for the rest of the project, then actually we will consume the total budget, BSc. But management will not approve this, right? So management will always look for the best performance that you can show. So for our case, if you use this formula, what will happen? This is actually $50, and our new AC was how much? 160, right? and actual cost was 120. So what is coming here? 50 minus divided by $40. So this is actually 1.25. That means, what does it mean? If we want to complete the project with a new estimated completion, we cannot actually reduce our performance. What you need to do, we have to maintain the 1.25 performance to achieve the new $160 estimated completion. So this is the interpretation of this formula. So with this formula, you can actually forecast what is happening in your project in terms of performance index, cost performance index. So this graph, if you see, one scenario is showing here. So our CPI is negative. That means at this moment we are doing bad. So what we need to do, we need to take some measures so that we can improve our CPI to positive side to achieve the budgeted completion. In this graph, we are seeing the project is doing bad. That means if you do bad, then ESC will be more than BSC. So management will not approve that. Management will push you to complete the project within BSC, the cost baseline. So that's why in this scenario, we have to improve ourselves so that we can actually complete the project within the new BSC, within the budget. It is a negative scenario. All right. So this is the actual interpretation of TCPI and the graph. All right. So TCPI will help us to forecast in terms of cost performance. How are we doing? And if you want to compete within budget, if our started scenario is negative, then actually you have to give more effort. But in our case, we are doing good. That's why actually this result actually come only 0.625. That means if we reduce our performance, then also we can meet the budget. All right, so this is the formula. All the formulas we have discussed. If you have any question, you can discuss. Otherwise, we'll go to the quality chapter. All right, so in quality chapter, we are in a new chapter. So the 4 chapters, sequentially we are going through. One is chapter 5, scope, 6 was time, and 7 was cost. All right, and the 8th one, the 8th chapter is actually quality. So these are actually a core technical part of project management of a project, core technical part of project: scope, time, cost, and quality. All right. So quality is what? The definition you will get in this chapter, and there are actually only 3 processes in quality chapter. You will get a lot of questions from quality chapter. So after completing the exam, you cannot remember the questions. What questions came from in which chapter? But you can surely say that a lot of question you will get from quality chapter, risks chapter, and also integration chapter. So these 3-4 chapters you will get a lot of questions. So quality and scope is actually integrated with each other. And one of the main thing of quality is, what term I will use here, that is actually conformance to requirement. Conformance to requirements. This is the bare minimum. Bare minimum to meet the quality requirements. That means the customer requirements that you must 100% you have to meet that. So that is actually conformance to requirements. All right. And another thing is fit for use or fit for purpose. Fit for purpose. So these are the main things. Fit for purpose means the purpose I have buy the product or buy the service from you. The product should be capable of meeting my requirement. Fit for use or fit for purpose. All right. So I have say I have bought a bicycle, but if I cannot ride on the bicycle, it doesn't work. Then actually it will not maintain the fit for purpose. I am taking some medicine, but after taking the medicine, my disease does not. I am not recovering from that disease. That means it is not fit for purpose. So these two things is very important. One is conformance to requirements. This is bare minimum requirements for ensuring quality and also fit for purpose. And another very important thing is customer satisfaction, right? If customer is not satisfied, how, if you want to make your customer satisfied, how can we make that? The main tool is quality. You have to ensure quality in your product and service. So these are the core things of quality management. All right. Okay. So we are in chapter 8. And this is a small chapter, but a lot of questions you will get from the chapter, 36 pages. And we will see only three processes. So three processes belongs to three different process groups. So first process is plan quality management, right? So before starting the project, we have planned what are the quality criteria of the customers, of the stakeholders, of the product, of the service you have to identify. And that planning you need to do at the beginning, at the planning. What are the criteria we need to meet, quality criteria we need to meet to complete the project and to be accepted by the customer. So those are the planning requirements you need to plan here. That is actually plan quality management. And I am actually, in short, I am saying it PQ, plan quality. Second is manage quality, MQ, manage quality. Manage quality means this is actually under execution. That means the planning we have done in execution, we will follow those planning to execute our work, to run all the processes. We will follow the standards we have identified here, the standards, the quality policies, or government regulations, or my organization's quality policies, everything we have identified here. Executing process manage quality will ensure all the processes, all the standards, and all the SOPs we are following when we are doing the project. So that is actually manage quality, the execution of the plan quality items. And control quality is actually testing. This is actually testing of IT firm or software firm, or in other industries it can be different now term. So this is CQ, control quality. So when we are producing our deliverables, our products, our increments, then we'll check. All right, we'll check whether this is actually meeting all the requirements defined in the plan quality process. Or also we have to check back with our scope of statement and also our requirement documentation, because on in these documents we actually identify quality requirements of the stakeholders also. And also we have to check with the stakeholder register, because the stakeholder register, in that document we have also identified stakeholders requirements, especially quality requirements. All right. So to interpret, this is very important thing. You have to interpret and understand separately what is the scope of plan quality what is the scope of managed quality and what is the scope of control quality. So there is some people actually face difficulty to separate these two. What is managed quality and what is control quality? All right. So your concept need to be 100% clear here. Control quality is dealing with deliverables, the outputs, and you have to make the outputs through testing, through walkthrough, or through inspection. You have to confirm that it is meeting all the quality criteria. So control quality is dealing with the deliverables, the outputs, but managed quality is actually dealing with the process, whether you are following the process or not. The process you have defined in the plant quality, the standard you have defined, identified, whether you are following that or not. All right. So that is the managed quality. Managed quality is working at the process level. Control quality is working at the output level. This is the main difference. Let me draw a cylinder here so that you can easily understand and remember. See this cylinder? So plant quality will work here. And this cylinder actually say we are developing, these are the small things are actually deliverables. So you are producing deliverables. When you are producing deliverable, first you have to plan, identify all the quality requirements, and you have to plan so that all the quality requirements are met. Now, this is the time when actually managed quality will come into action, managed quality. So it will confirm that you are following all the guidelines, all the policies, all the standards you have mentioned here. So when you are producing deliverables, you are seeing that all the processes are maintained or not. All right. So this way managed quality is working. This is actually talking about process. Then finally the output is created, right? Now CQ will work. CQ means this one, control quality. Now you will take each and every deliverable and check the quality, whether it met all the quality requirements or not. If not, you have to come here again. All right. So let me give an example. Say you have actually identified you want to follow some coding standard. Coding standard. So in plant quality, you have identified some coding standard. Now managed quality, when you are developing or coding or programming, you will follow the coding standard. Yeah. Now the testing team will come into action when actually the coding snippet or some deliverable is created and you have given it to the QA team or testing team. So then testing team is doing what? They are actually doing the control quality. They are checking everything, whether all the test cases are passed or not. If there is no error, then that will actually go to where? It will actually go to validate scope process. Validate scope process. Here actually customer will validate. So far in control quality, our team will work. Our testing team will work. When they will say there is no error, all quality requirement is met, then that will go to validate scope process. And customer will be involved and they will do the UAT. All right. And if it is approved, then actually this will go to close project phase process, close project phase. So this is the relation between these 5-6 processes.
Anyway, control quality is internal, solely internal, right?
Right. What control?
Control quality, yeah, team is internal, yes. Internal checking.
Internal, yes, internal checking. But it will check the output, deliverables. Huh?
Deliverables.
All right. Okay, so this is the actual difference between managed quality and control quality. So this concept, you have to be clear, otherwise you will be confused. Okay. This is jumping. So the interaction between plant quality, managed quality, control quality, then actually integration management and validate scope. As I mentioned, after control quality, you will this verified deliverables will go to validate scope, and then customer will validate. All right. So this relation you can understand after completing the chapter. So there is a difference between quality and grade. Though in Bangladesh, uh, or in when you are talk with quality or grade, we think that they are both things are same, but not same. Huh? So what is quality? Quality is the degree to which a set of inherent characteristics fulfill requirements. Inherent characteristics fulfill requirements that actually combine project scope, product scope, and implied needs. So the needs we have identified in project requirement document, then project scope statement, stakeholder register, all the needs you need to fulfill. That is actually conformance to requirements. So this is the quality definition. But what is grade? Grade is a category assigned to products or services having the same functional use but different technical characteristics. So what is actually grade? Let me give you an example. Say you are going from Dhaka to Singapore. Dhaka to Singapore. All right? Dhaka to Singapore, and you're you're traveling actually in economic class. All right? Economic class. And you are using Singapore Airlines. You're as you are not having money, so you're using economic class. And if you have money, you may actually use business class. You can travel, right, in business class, but it will take, say, double money. So if you see this scenario, what is happening? Our target is, our functional target is, we will go to Singapore. So that's, and we have chosen Singapore Airlines, say not Bangladesh Airlines. So that means Bangladesh Singapore Airlines is better than Bangladesh Airlines. We know that. And to ensure the quality, we actually choose Singapore Airlines. But this is our choice based on our affordability. We have chosen to travel using economic class. All right. But some they are having money, they can actually travel in business class. So this is actually great. So who is we are actually the function is same. We will go Singapore, but someone is visiting in economic class and someone is visiting in traveling in business class. So grade is a category assigned to product or service having the same functional use, but different technical characteristics. All right. Maybe we'll get some a little bit facilities will be different, but our function, our target is to travel Singapore. That will be fulfill both the cases. But it is our choice what type of grade of service we want to avail based on our choice, based on our affordability. So this is the difference between grade and quality. And if you see this is very interesting. Low quality is always a problem. Low grade may not be, right? Because that can be my choice. আমরা অনেকে আছে না মোটা চালের ভাত খাই, আবার এখন আবার ট্রেন্ড কি আসছে যে লাল লাল ভাত খেতে হয় না, ওটা নাকি বেশি স্বাস্থ্যকর।
This is for the health conscious people.
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ। সো দেখেন আমরা যেটা খাইতাম না, তো আগে তো অ্যাভয়েড করতাম, এখন আবার দেখা যাচ্ছে যে না ওটাই বেটার। সো এটা আসলে যে লো গ্রেড মে নট বি, আমি হয়তো স্বাস্থ্য সচেতন, এই জন্য আমি হয়তো মানে এটাকে বলে কি ক্রস গ্রেইন বোধ হয় না, আমরা ফুড নিচ্ছি আর কি, হ্যাঁ চাল খাচ্ছি। সো লো গ্রেড মে নট বি, বাট লো কোয়ালিটি ইজ অলওয়েজ এ প্রবলেম, রাইট? So in some slides, earlier in these slides actually we are seeing some definitions. That definition are mentioned in quality chapter in different cases and different in different descriptions. So you have to understand those definitions actually. So that's why I am showing this. And these definitions you will see in quality chapter. Also, the better definition you will get in the glossary. So glossary is a must read for the PMP exam. All right, so what is the difference between accuracy and precision? See, we also use this both the term in the same sense. So there is actually difference. So let me explain through this figure. If you see this figure, so low accuracy, high precision. Actually, bullseye, our target is, we are actually targeting and we are throwing the dart to target the bullseye. But what happens? Accuracy is how close a measured value to the actual value. So our true target is to hit the bullseye. Precision is how close the measured values are to each other. In this case, precision is high because the data is closer, but it is all are actually far from the bullseye. So that's why this is low accuracy, right, by high precision, because data are closed to each other, but accuracy is low. And in this case, high accuracy, because we are almost around bullseye, but low precision because data are dispersed here, not close to each other. And in this case, see, both are high, right? We almost four dot actually hit the bullseye, and also these five are very close data to each other. So high precision, high accuracy. In this case, see, low accuracy and low precision. We are far from the bullseye, and also all the data are dispersed. So this is actually the difference between accuracy and precision. And these are the concept I have already discussed something, some parts, some definitions. Customer satisfaction is the key, and how customer will be satisfied if you meet bare minimum is conforms to requirements. What is customer asking for, and fitness for use, the purpose the customer is buying from you. So that purpose should be met by the product or the service. So that is actually bare minimum for customer satisfaction. And everywhere actually customer satisfaction is driving their quality. And that's why actually we are buying Apple products. They are not actually lowering their price, right? So their price is very high, but still people are purchasing Apple, right? Apple phone, iPhone, MacBook. Why? Because their quality at a different level. And people are thinking, if we want to get that kind of quality, I need to purchase with a high value. All right. So customer actually driven by quality, and they are actually not having any problem to spend more if they get quality. One important thing is very important. There is actually no last end of quality. Quality is done or quality is complete. There is nothing like that. You have to always strive for improving quality. So continuous improvement is very critical. In agile perspective, they actually every iteration before starting can you remember retrospective? In the target of retrospective is to identify how can we continuously improve, and what will be our kaizen. Kaizen means actually a small improvement, a small change. So in retrospective, all the agile team try to find out what will be the kaizen for our next iteration. And they actually put that kaizen in the product backlog, in the iteration backlog for the next iteration at the top priority. So in this way, in every iteration, agile team try to thrive, try to continuously improve their quality. So that is actually known as kaizen. This is Japanese term, means alter, better, or improve. Doing some small change to improve. So everywhere this is very important. There is no bar of quality. You have to try to exceed and continuously improve yourself, your team's performance, your product and services quality. So we'll talk about PDCA cycle, plan, do, check, act. This is also known as Deming cycle. Very important in everywhere. If we talk about quality, this is actually one of the concept we discuss. Plan, do, quality check. Plan, do, check, act. So we'll discuss in the later slides in detail. Total quality management, we heard this, right? So there are a lot of quality standards in the industry now. So total quality is like that. Total quality means if you want to improve your quality, so from top management perspective, it is not only possible as a top management, you only try to improve your quality. So total quality management is talking about you have to see your organization as a whole. Everyone need to be involved to improve the quality. Only top management cannot guarantee or cannot ensure quality. So everyone need to involve from top to bottom to increase the quality. So that is actually total quality management. we are we have all maybe we have heard about Six Sigma, and also we have heard about lean. So lean management, this is actually came from manufacturing. So this is actually, and also we are talking about agile. Agile actually taken a lot of good things from lean management. So the main idea of lean management is how to reduce wastage, how to reduce wastage, and also another very important thing is how to improve cycle time, lead time, so that you can deliver your product or service to the customer as early as possible. So that is actually lean. And Six Sigma actually can try to reduce deviation between the product output or result. All right. So Six Sigma actually dealing with reducing deviation of the outputs. So the now actually we are not using Six Sigma or lean separately. We are using lean Six Sigma. That means the good side of the both concepts, both management or quality improvement technique, lean and Six Sigma, we actually combine together, and we are now saying lean Six Sigma. The good things or the good principle from lean and good principle from Six Sigma is combined, and now it is mentioned as lean Six Sigma. All right, this is not important. Malcolm Baldrige, this is actually a award USA government gives every year to the top organizations who are actually enterprises or organizations who are best in quality in service or product. So this is a US government award. OPM3 means Organizational Project Management Maturity Model. Organizational Project Management Maturity Model. This is actually one standard from PMI. So if you want to improve your project management quality, so you can use this standard. Last one is CMMI. This is actually for the service industry or for the software industry, also used in the software industry. Capability Maturity Model Integrated, right? So these are the actually, in the industry we are seeing, these are the process improvement or quality improvement standards available in the market. So all these things are actually mentioned in this chapter. আচ্ছা আমরা কি আছি না আমি একে বকবক করে যাচ্ছি?
না আছি
শুনতেছেন?
আছি
আচ্ছা, okay, management responsibility, that means if management is not focused, then actually you cannot ensure quality. So that's why involvement of management is very important to improve quality. Prevention over inspection, very important. আমরা জানি না যে প্রতিকারের চেয়ে প্রতিরোধী, আমরা ছোটবেলায় বলে আসছি আর কি, প্রতিরোধী ভালো। So prevention over inspection, that means আগে থেকে যদি আমরা প্রিভেন্ট করতে পারি তাহলে কি বেটার। সো এটা কিন্তু মেইন থিম। PMI is always asking for prevention. That's why if we can remember the cylinder thing, we are doing plant quality, and if we can do the quality plan very early in the project, and the plan is good, and also manage quality is good, then what will happen? The output will be good. So all are actually we are trying to prevent. Inspection means what? When we are doing the testing, we are inspecting. So that is costly. If you get any error here, that is very costly. So that's why as a project manager, you will not work as a firefighter. You are always fighting with problems. No, you have to work as a proactive leader, and you have to work as always in preventive in nature. Cost of quality, that we'll discuss in detail. What are the items under cost of quality? We actually see this in cost chapter. When you are doing determining budget, we talk about cost of quality. Because if you want to give good quality, then the budget should be high. Good plating, we talk in the scope chapter. So customer asks for this, we should not add anything else that is not asked by customer. All right, so that is actually gold plating. Without any request by the customer, we are giving extra features. So that is not quality actually. Okay, we have to avoid this. All right, so margin analysis. Margin analysis is a financial term actually. That means actually profit analysis. So when we are talking about quality and you want to give quality, then always you have to find out, see the ratio between the benefit and cost. That balance should be there. You're giving high quality. So if you give high quality, your cost will be high. Then what will happen? Your benefit, your profit will be lower. So always you have to analyze whether it is okay or not to give the quality so high. So if customer asks for high quality, then the budget will be high. Just in time, this is a great concept used in manufacturing, and it also came from Japan. So just in time means main concept is inventory zero. Your inventory level should be zero, because if you have a big inventory and that is not used, then what will happen? You have to give a lot of effort to manage that inventory warehouse, and lot of raw materials will be lost its quality when you will put in warehouse. So that's why, and also it will actually incur a lot of cost to the production. That's why actually people are using inventory zero concept and JIT, just in time. Total quality management, we talked about this. Everyone need to involve to ensure quality of an organization. Six Sigma, Six Sigma means, so this is actually a statistical term. The Six Sigma process improvement actually discovered by Motorola for their own company, but now this is so popular everywhere, and this is actually came from manufacturing. But now in service industry and everywhere, people are using Six Sigma concept. The main thing is how can you reduce the deviation between your production. So the Six Sigma actually came from here. If you see the number, so Six Sigma means actually if we draw a better distribution graph, normal distribution. My internet is disconnected or what? Hello.
ঠিক আছে।
Oh, আমার ইয়াটা স্টাক হয়ে গেছে ভিডিওটা। So Six Sigma, when you are talking about Six Sigma, that means the deviation from the mean, the production deviation will be within a certain range. The deviation from the mean means average. That's the Six Sigma value is 99.99966. That means out of 1 million, out of 1 million production, only 4 can have issues. can have defects. All right. So out of 1 million production, only 4 defects can be found. So little deviation. This is very difficult to ensure. All right. So if any organization use Six Sigma, so their production will be like this. Out of 10 million production, they will have only 4 errors, 4 deviations, 4 defects. So this is actually quite impossible for any Bangladeshi factory or manufacturing company. All right. So if you can't ensure this, then what happens actually? A lot of wastage happens in the manufacturing. In Bangladesh, actually, our cost in garments or different factories, still we are not actually following any quality standard, process improvement standard. But still we are doing benefit, and we are getting profit because of the low cost of the labor. All right. But if we can actually focus on the process improvement of the manufacturing organizations, factories, garments, it will actually give a lot of benefit to the owners and also to the country also. And if we not improve our process, maybe we will be lag behind from the competition, the global competition. So, আমাকে শোনা যাচ্ছে তো না? Okay. So, tailoring consideration. So, when you are doing quality, policy compliance and auditing must. If there is any policy you need to comply with, so that you need to identify and that you need to ensure. Standards and regulatory compliance, mandatory. All these are mandatory. If you are producing any food, your BSTI guideline you have to follow. You have to manage. Otherwise, you will be sued. Then continuous improvement. You have to always try to continuously improve your processes, your product, your service, your personal performance, your team performance, everything. People, process, product. So these 3 P, you have to always try to continuously improve. People's skill, competency, performance, products, quality, and also process improvement. And stakeholder engagement. At different levels, you have to engage your stakeholders. And I have already talked about this consideration for agile through retrospective and through identify Kaizen. They actually, in every iteration, they try to improve their performance. All right. So there are actually some quality gurus. They actually give lot of principles and theories to ensure quality in your product, people, and process. So this is actually not mentioned in PM work, but I actually prefer that you just go through all the theories that are actually given by Walter Schubert. Walter Schubert actually first man who actually talked about plan, do, check, act. But actually that is actually proposed by Edward Deming. So people are now actually talked about Edward Deming, and PDCA cycle is known as Deming cycle. And this is the actually Deming cycle. So this way actually we can continuously improve our processes. How we actually first plan how we can improve. So say we have identified some improvement. Now we will execute the improvement. All right. So in planning, we will identify the improvements. Then in doing, we will execute the identification, the actions we will take. And we will check whether we are getting good result or not. If we are getting good result, then we will make an act. That means we will follow this process improvement in the next processes. Or if in the checking, if we find that it is not working, then again we have to take action and we have to replan. And if you see, this is actually a Deming cycle. That means it is always continuously circling around. That means there is no stoppage actually. In Google, if you see search using Deming cycle or PDCA cycle, you may find this type of picture with this kind of what I say. This is a bar and it is showing like this. That means this is a quality improvement graph. You have to always try to improve yourself. This cycle will move and it is always go up. That means there is no stoppage. You have to always try to find out how can you improve? How can you improve? And there is no stoppage of quality improvement.
Regarding doing and acting, I mean, there is a gulf of difference in between the two. One is executing the plan, another one is if issues and errors and corrections came up.
Right.
So, so আমাদের পুরো PMP যে content, এই পুরো content can be illustrated into this, I mean, this fourth dimension. If we put that in that manner, the planning is here, I mean, then doing execution of plan, then quality checking, and then finally closing. Monitoring and control will fall under acting, and then checking, right?
Checking and acting, monitoring and control. Plan is planning, do is execution. So almost covering everything actually, right?
Exactly. জি আমি এটা দেখছিলাম। আমি have given so মানে কিছু স্টাফ দিয়েছেন প্রচন্ড ভালো, এই জিনিসগুলো আসলেও মানে বই না পড়লে তো জানা যেত না।
All right, so Joseph Juran, another quality guru.
I have got another question. The impact of accuracy and precision, যদি অনেক আগের, এটা কি আমি পরে বলবো নাকি এখন আপনি আলাপ করবেন?
হ্যাঁ বলুন।
Accuracy and precision এই কোয়ালিটি অ্যাসপেক্টে জাস্ট আমি এক্সাম্পল চাচ্ছিলাম যে is there any real life example like for accuracy কোন জায়গাটায় it is impacting on quality এবং কোন কেন দেখি আমরা, and for precision in what parameters?
এটা আসলে আমরা যখন কোয়ালিটি কোনো ইয়ার সেট করব, প্ল্যানিং করব,
জি,
তখন আসলে আমরা কোনটাতে ফোকাস হব? হ্যাঁ, মেইনলি আসলে অ্যাকুরেসি। জি, সো আমাদেরকে অ্যাকুরেসি এনশিওর করতে হবে। আবার কোন ক্ষেত্রে হয়তো আমরা ইউজ করতে পারি প্রিসিশন ইউজ করতে পারি। তো ওটা আগে আসলে আমাদের প্ল্যানিং এ আইডেন্টিফাই করতে হবে আসলে এই প্রোডাক্টের জন্য আমাদের কি দরকার, অ্যাকুরেসি নাকি আসলে প্রিসিশন। সো এবং যে টার্মগুলো আমরা তখন ইউজ করব সেটা আসলে যাতে আমরা বুঝে করি। নাহলে আমরা তো বাংলাদেশের প্রিসিশন এবং অ্যাকুরেসি যদি আমরা না দেখতাম স্লাইডে, আমরা মনে করতাম যে দুটো সেম। আমিও তাই মনে করি যে এটা সেমই তো। সো এই দুটোর মধ্যে ডিফারেন্স হচ্ছে এটা, ফুটবল খেলায় ধরেন ওই মেসি বারবার গোলে কিক করতেছে কিন্তু গিয়ে বারে লাগতেছে, 5টা বল বারে লাগলো বার্সেলোনার ধরেন রিয়াল মাদ্রিদের খেলায়। আর ওদিকে রোনালদো হয়তো একটা কিকই মারতে পারছে এবং ওইটা গোল হয়ে গেছে। সো অ্যাকুরেসি ইজ হাই রোনালদোর, বাট মেসির আসলে প্রিসিশন ইজ হাই, সে বারে লাগাতে পারতেছে কিন্তু গোল অ্যাকুরেসি হচ্ছে না, আসলে মেইন টার্গেটটা পাচ্ছে না। সো আমাদের আসলে ডিপেন্ড করবে যে আমরা মেইনলি অ্যাকুরেসি, যদি আমরা অ্যাকুরেসি ফোকাসে প্রোডাক্টে, তাহলে অবশ্যই অ্যাকুরেসি এনশিওর করতে হবে এবং দুইটা আসলে ডিফারেন্সটা বুঝতে হবে।
আমি যদি একটু এটাকে করি যে যেমন ধরেন আমাদের মোবাইল যে এলসিডি গুলো আমরা দেখি, ডিসপ্লে যেগুলো দেখি, ইফ ইউ কনসিডার যে এইখানে বেসিক্যালি পিক্সেল এত মেগাপিক্সেল হবে, এটা হবে উই আর মোর ইনক্লাইন টুয়ার্ডস অ্যাকুরেসি, যে কত মানে ভালো রেজলিউশনের আমি পাচ্ছি, কত ভালো মেগাপিক্সেলের পাচ্ছি। বাট ইন টার্মস অফ যারা নাকি ইকোনমি ব্র্যান্ডের আছে, দে আর লুকিং ফর অ্যাকুরেসি বাট দে এন্ড আপ উইথ প্রিসিশন। জিনিসটা কি এরকম?
ঠিক আছে, মানে আমরা উই আর লুকিং ফর লট অফ ফিচার্স,
জি,
বাট মানে অ্যাকুরেসির দিকে যাচ্ছি না। আসলে যত ফিচার বেশি থাকবে ওইটাই নিচ্ছি আমরা, এরকম করে আর কি লোকজন।
জি জি,
এই যে চাইনিজ মোবাইলগুলোতে প্রচুর ফিচার থাকে,
জি,
তো মানুষ ওটার পিছিয়ে যায়, আসলে দেখা যায় মানে মেইন দেখা যাবে সার্ভিসগুলি আসলে ভালো না।
এক্স্যাক্টলি।
Alright, so Joseph Juran, he actually talk about fitness for use. that I mentioned earlier. And he also talked about Pareto principle, 80-20 principle, that we think we all know what the 80-20 principle. So 80% problem actually happens for 20% cause. So if you can remove that 20% cause, actually you can remove the 80% problems. So that concept is that actually developed by Alfred Pareto, one economist from Italy. But the concept is so popular, everyone is using everywhere now, this 80-20 principle rule. So in an organization, the top 20, they actually get 80% salary. And the lower 80, they actually got 20%, get 20% salary. So we can interpret like this. So Philip B. Crosby, he actually talked about an interesting thing that is conformance to requirements that I mentioned earlier, and also that also quality is free. This is very interesting. Quality is free means customer actually don't feel that he is actually spending money for quality. So quality should be built in. All right, there will be no defect, and customer will assume that it is free. Those people who are actually using Apple iPhone, they are actually investing more than 1 lakh taka, but they are actually sometimes compare your iPhone with Android device and say that iPhone is better than Android. But the Android device I am using, that is actually 30,000 taka. So quality should be built in, and in customer sense, they will think this is free. All right. And Taguchi will see a tool in PMBOK, design of experiment. That tool actually we have taken from Genichi Taguchi. And if you see all the philosophers who are actually talked about different philosophy and principles of quality, all are actually uh, in quality we are actually using statistics, and data-driven decision is very important. And in quality, all the philosophers, they actually push, if you see, there are a lot of statistical tool they have mentioned to use. Six Sigma is a statistical tool. And everywhere they're actually pushing to using engineering and a statistical tool. So, and also statistics actually help us to take decision, data-driven decision. So in quality, you have to also use the data-driven decisions. All right. So I think today we can start the main processes. So we'll start in the next class the main processes. Just let me finish another definition here. We have some definition term. This will be the last slide. So you'll get a lot of questions from quality chapter. Let me see. Yes, this. So this will be the last slide about definitions, because we have seen a lot of definitions in today's class. So one is prevention of inspection. We have already talked about this. See, prevention means what? Keeping errors out of the process. This is the prevention. So as a project manager, we actually have to focus on this, keeping errors out of process, keeping errors out of the hands of the customer. That is actually inspection. All right. So these are two are actually nice definition. So prevention is keeping errors out of the process. So if you can do that, then actually in the inspection or testing, you will get very few errors or defects. All right. That's why Six Sigma or other quality standards, they all are actually working with process improvement. All right. So that is very important. If you can improve the process, then your testing, the inspection, you will get very few errors, defects. And finally, the inspection is for what? Keeping errors out of the hands of the customer, so that customer cannot get any error. So Samsung's Note 9, which actually the battery was in the hand of customers. So what they did, they actually revert all the products, right? Take back the products. And that is actually very costly. So we have to work, improve your quality so that customer actually don't get any error product or defected product. And as we are talking about lot of statistical tools, and in this chapter, in every process, we will see a lot of statistical tools are used. So in statistics, two terms we use, right? One is population and one is sample. Population is the whole data, right? And sample is the sample taking from that whole data. So if in a garments, say we are producing, say, 10,000 t-shirts one day. So in quality check, will you check all the t-shirts? No. What you do, maybe 20% or 50% t-shirts we pick randomly. So this is actually population, and this 20% is the sample. So in the planning also, you have to plan what will be your sample size. And in the execution, you will use that sample size. So that should be in the planning also. And in quality also, use sometimes attribute sampling and variable sampling when you are doing sampling. All right. So attribute sampling means yes or no, or true or false. That means if you use this criteria for testing whether the sample is passed or failed, if you use this attribute sampling, that means if there is any error, there is no scope to accept that. It is fail, all right, fail or pass. But variable sampling is there is a range. There is a range. So if within that range the product or deliverable is uh, tested okay, then we will, if the sampling is variable sampling, then we'll say that it is passed. But if we use attribute sampling, if there is any single error, we'll say that is actually failed. So based on your product, based on your service, you have to plan which sampling type you will use. For, say, for example, you are developing a medicine. So that is very sensitive, right? Very critical for human body. So you have to, you cannot use range at that time, right? So maybe you will use the attribute sampling. Okay, last thing is standards and regulations. Standards is, we can say actually optional. So we should do, but regulations is we must do, right? This is must and this is should. Tolerance and control limits. So we talked about these terms earlier, tolerance and control limit. So our sponsors or stakeholders set tolerance, right? This is maybe upper tolerance, right? Upper tolerance, and this is lower tolerance. And if you produce your product or service within this limit, that is actually known as control limits. So these terms will be used in some tools. I will explain that then. I will mention again then. And last one is special case, common case. This is also important for all this definition, especially these two definitions. Please see the glossaries. The definition is very clear there. So what is a special cause and common cause? So say আমরা বলি না বাংলাদেশে যে সর্দি লাগছে, সর্দি লাগলে ওষুধ খাইলে, ওষুধ না খাইলে 7 দিন লাগবে, আর খাইলে 1 সপ্তাহ লাগবে সারতে, বলি না আমরা? কারণ কি, যে আসলে এটা কমন কজ, মানে সর্দি কোনো কিছু করার নাই, মানে এটা আপনার সর্দি যদি লাগে তাহলে আপনার এরকম 5-6 দিন 7 দিন আপনাকে ভোগাবে, হ্যাঁ, ওষুধ খান না খান এই অবস্থা। সো কমন কজ মানে যেটা রেগুলারলি ঘটে, হ্যাঁ, কমন জেনারেল টাইপ অফ কজ, there is nothing to worry about that. বাট স্পেশাল কজ কি, এই যে আমাদের এখন করোনা হয়ে গেছে, এখন কিন্তু ঠান্ডা লাগলে সর্দি লাগলে দ্যাট মাইট বি মেবি করোনা। সো নাও উই নিড টু ফাইন্ড আউট ইজ দেয়ার any virus behind that. So if there is any virus, then that is actually a special case, coronavirus, then actually a special cause. And common key cause is the general, আমাদের যে সর্দি লাগে, ঠান্ডা লাগে। So when actually you are trying to identify any errors, any problems in your process or your deliverables, you have to check whether it is happening for common cause or it is a special cause. Maybe for some common case you will grant this is okay, but if you find any special case, a special scenario, then you have to find out the root cause and you have to remove the root cause. All right, so this is the actually difference between a special cause and the common cause. So I think this is all for today. In the next class, we'll see the 3 processes of quality chapter: plan quality, manage quality, and control quality, and also the tools and techniques of the quality chapter. So we are stopping right here today. If you have any question, you can ask me.